Welcome to the Neuropreneur Rising podcast. I'm your host, Polly Pollock, and I'm a marketing mentor, author, and neurospicy business owner, here to guide you in the journey of growing your business, getting seen, and getting clients on your terms. This is the place to be if you're an ADHD or neurodiverse entrepreneur and you're done with forcing yourself into marketing and business strategies that feel restrictive and awkward, and you're ready to embrace how your unique mind works so you can create the success that you deserve. On this podcast, we're going to be talking about ADHD and neuro-friendly marketing, dopamine-driven and sustainable business strategies, and how to get seen and paid your way without the burnout. And a little something to get you started before we dive in. If you're tired of staring at a blank screen when it comes to creating your content, wondering what the hell to post, go and grab the neuro-friendly content kit. It's free and it was built by me for brains like ours. It takes the overwhelm and the confusion and the frustration out of content creation and helps you really showcase your brand and convert your audience into customers. Go ahead and grab it in the show notes. All right, let's jump in. Hello and welcome back. I have had a coffee this morning, so I'm slightly chaotic and we'll find out how it goes in about 2 minutes. I'm feeling slightly chaotic because of my caffeine rush, but that's okay. I am feeling very, very pumped to talk about my subject of the day, which is virality. And I love talking about this subject. I will talk about going viral and the perception of going viral any chance that I get. I have my whole sort of personal story around this. I have clients who come to me, saying I'm doing something wrong because I'm not going viral. I used to think that was literally the holy grail of like everything business. And it's not. So I'm going to break it down for you today and really go into how going viral is not going to make you run a successful business. It's not going to give you clients. It's not going to be the thing that drives your growth. And I'm going to explain why. I've briefly sort of touched on this in the past few episodes. And I said, I remember saying in those episodes, like, okay, I'm actually going to save this for a new one. Because I will talk about it. I will go on and and it will be too long of an episode. So I think this is something I really, really feel drawn to talk about as much as I can, because we have this perception of what going viral means and how it's the best thing since sliced bread. There's loads and loads of people talking about, there's, I don't even like coaches or Instagram gurus or whatever they call themselves these days, saying, I can teach you how to grow your Instagram account. I can teach you how to grow your followers. I can teach you how to get more views. For what? Like, if you're an influencer, fine. And your main thing is like brand partnerships. Okay, great. Maybe you want more views. Maybe you want more engagement. Maybe your follower account actually matters. But if you're running a business, and also just to let you know, even if you are doing that, follower account isn't the thing they go off of anyway. But I'm just saying, it's engagement. But I only know that because I have a friend who does that stuff. Anyway, if you're running a business, that's not what you need to be focusing on. And I think that the line between being an influencer and being a business owner on social media has become really, really blurred. And in turn, it has destroyed people's confidence and self-trust because they think all they need to do is go viral. And if they're not doing that, they're doing business wrong. And it's pulling people away from actual business growth because they are so focused on going viral. When I went viral, probably, the first time, like I've gone viral a few times. I literally had a video go viral recently, which I deleted because I was like, fuck this. It is drawing in way too many of the wrong people. And it was completely irrelevant. It was just a fun post. So I deleted it. I was like, I don't want that. I will come on to that a little bit more later. But when I went viral the first time, it didn't make my business boom. That was not the reason my business was successful. My first spiritual business, that was not what drove my success at all. It got me a few cool opportunities because I was getting known and that was really cool. But in terms of like growing my business, no. But I had to do a bit of a look back of, oh my God, okay, my business isn't growing as fast as I'd like it to. Like, this is not how I planned this year to go. What's gone wrong? And I looked back at what I had been doing in terms of marketing, and all I had been doing is focusing on social media. and going viral and trying to go viral again and again. And I didn't realize what I was doing until I had a big like kick up the arse about it. And I was like, oh my God, I have been wasting so much time. I haven't been looking at how I can actually grow sustainably. I haven't been looking at how I can actually get, the right clients through the door. All I was doing was performing for the algorithm. And that was a really, really tough pill to swallow, that I had actually wasted. And I do say wasted, like about maybe like, yes, between 6 months and a year, maybe a bit more. Yeah, maybe like about a year of just posting to like appease the algorithm. So when you go viral, it really doesn't mean that you're going to get sales. It doesn't even mean that people are going to check out your profile. It means that someone has seen a video and that is it. If they follow you, great. Again, all they have to do is hit that little follow button in the corner. It doesn't mean that they've checked out your profile. It doesn't mean that they are even remotely interested in working with you. It means that they have liked your content or have seen your content. That doesn't mean that you're attracting ideal clients by going viral. And also, I just want to add, when you post what the algorithm wants and it decides whether you're going to go viral or not, that will potentially push it out to all the wrong people. Those people are not necessarily the people that you want to attract, and they are not necessarily people who are ready to buy. Like, they may not even be the right people at all to experience any of your work, paid or not. And I think that we have this like strange unwavering trust that the algorithm pushes out. If you have a video that goes viral, it's going to push it out to all the right people, and all the people that are seeing your stuff are going to be the right people for you. And it's a robot at the end of the day. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. Yeah, okay, it might know like generically where to send your video, but it's not necessarily pushing it to the like clients. The way virality works is it usually attracts spectators rather than clients, audience members, like engaged community members. Because having an engaged community, having a community and a pool of people who are so into your work and are ready to buy, that takes work and that takes commitment and it takes connection. And that isn't what happens when you just create viral videos or try to create viral videos. Because if you're trying to make videos go viral and that's all you're creating, then that's just as bad, even if the video, not just as bad, but it's just as much as a problem. It's not your fault, because that's what you think, and as exactly was what I thought was the right thing to do. But what I'm saying is it's just as damaging, because you're still trying to get that result, which means that you're not potentially actively growing your community with the kind of connection and the trust and the depth that it needs. So really, when you try and go viral, and when you do go viral, you are essentially being trained by a freaking robot to perform like a circus monkey. That's how I look at it. You're being trained to conform, yes, and perform to appease a robot and not serve your clients. And if you run a business, if you want to grow your business, your main role is to serve your clients. That's the cold hard truth. And if you don't have that in mind with every post, every marketing effort, if that's not the front and center, that could also be where you're going wrong. And that's a perception thing, realistically. A lot of the time, yes, absolutely. When you're in, like, for example, if you're working with cold content, cold, warm, hot. If you're in a cold content kind of posting period, and you want to focus more on sharing you and sharing your brand and more like lifestyle kind of stuff, that's fine, that's great, but that still has your audience in mind. That is still coming from a place of service. And realistically, when you're trying to go viral, you think, okay, what is the right thing to say? What do I need to put on my posts? How do I reel people in? And that is what the algorithm says, or what the Instagram gurus will say, that you need to grow your account, and they're just as bad. Do you know what I mean? And so the more you absorb that and kind of think that that is a standard to set for yourself, the more your mind, your body, everything starts to crave quick validation, and that becomes the leading metric to grow your business. And that's where things can get really, really, really fucked up on a business growth level, but also a personal level, and mental health. And I always think it is really important to talk about actually how your mental health is impacted. Um, like your self-worth, yes, of course, your ability to kind of trust yourself, but realistically, yeah, your mental health is so fucking important in your business. And if you're neglecting that, because and again, none of this is purposeful, this is just the information that we absorb, um, that is going to make your business also deteriorate. And that is a lesson that I had to really, really learn myself. I was actually getting aware that my mental health was being impacted by this constant need and focus of going viral. And I was like, damn, if I wasn't running a business, like without my, like before I put my business online, I was not on social media. I was not a social media person. I had a really, like, I didn't really care about it, but I learned to use it. You know what I mean? I learned to use it as a tool, but I certainly wouldn't have ever been obsessed with like views and likes and stuff. So I'm like, well, what's changed? And I looked into it, and I had just been pummeled with this information of your business is not successful unless you're going viral. Your business is not ever going to grow unless you grow your followers. And it's just absolute bull. The most successful entrepreneurs that I personally know, as like colleagues, friends, whatever, people in a similar space, they don't have a big follower account on Instagram at all. Like some of them, I mean, one person that I can think of in my head right now, I think she has like, I mean, I'm literally going to check, 213 Instagram followers. I've just checked, and she makes a shit ton of money, and she's really well known for what she does, and she's built her business off of socials. Other people, like, honestly, the range that I see, the most successful people that I personally know, they're between like 1 and 3,000 followers, because they have made such an effort to grow their network and their community off of socials as well as on, and socials hasn't been a priority for them, and they are still doing incredibly well. I've personally worked with people who have 50, 100, 200k followers, and they're not making a red cent. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just all smoke and mirrors, and I will call it out. I will call it out until the cows come home. Like, it's smoke and mirrors. It's like diet culture for business. And so I also want to talk about how this affects ADHDers and neurodiverse people tenfold. From that lens, ADHD brains, and honestly all neurodiverse brains, kind of to an extent, especially ADHD, struggle with rejection sensitivity and dopamine chasing. That's an ADHD specific thing, but that rejection sensitivity is really what drives that. Okay, I need to come back, I need to do more, I need to be more, so I'm accepted, so people see my videos and like it, and and then mix that with the vanity metrics and the dopamine chasing. That is a whole, it's a whole process of like, it's addiction, you know what I mean? And that's really, really hard to come to terms with. And so chasing that virality just amplifies that and makes it mega, mega strong. Another thing is masking. So some people, I think some neurodiverse people might even find it easier to, and I know that I did, to kind of perform how the algorithm wants them to, rather than create depth and authenticity and connection, because that is also masking, and we mask in daily life. Unmasking for me online was really a whole process. I share from time to time some old videos of myself because I just love being so frank about like the reality of how I got here, because everyone's like, oh my god, you're so confident, you're so, you just say what's on your mind. It's like, yeah, but I did not do that like when I first came online. Like, you better believe I was masking like hell. And so when I was creating these viral videos, I felt like that was another mask, and I felt like that was almost like a persona, and that didn't feel good. I knew I was doing it and it felt safe, but I got to a point where I was like, I think it was when Instagram stopped favoring my videos, and I literally just, my views tanked even though I was posting the same shit. I was like, what have I been doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's not always that trying to go viral is like it's sometimes like a safety mechanism, like creating that content that you're just basically asked to do. And you bundle all of that together, like the masking, the rejection sensitivity, the dopamine hits, and you've got a recipe for disaster and very slow business growth. Another thing is constant pivoting to please the algorithm. I see so many businesses when I get new clients and I'm like, okay, what's your story? Give me a rundown of like the last year. A lot of people are like, well, I found that this wasn't working, so I pivoted to this. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love a pivot. I'm a pivot princess. God, no, and I'm not. But I've pivoted like a few times, and it's all been for like it's been a planned, trusted pivot. I'm all for the pivot, but I mean like business pivots, not, oh, something's not working on social, so I'm pivoting my entire business because of that. I have people come to me, like new clients, and they're like, oh, it wasn't working, so I pivoted like 5 times in the last year. I'm like, what wasn't working? Oh, well, I wasn't getting any views. So you weren't getting any views and you pivoted your business entirely. That is also like probably a reason why you're not seeing sustainable growth in your business, because you have hopped around a bunch of stuff. And you need, realistically, like it takes a while of consistent brand building to actually run a sustainable business. So if you're switching all the time, yeah, you might have the same audience members, yeah, you might have more, but if you're switching all the time, you're starting fresh every single time, and you've got to be really, really mindful of that. Every pivot that I've made, I have viewed it as I'm starting fresh every single time, and it has felt like that. But I had to make sure, I am in a position to do that. But it's not been because of social media. That's the thing. When you're doing it because the vanity metrics don't favor you, that's not a reason to pivot. And again, with the ADHD thing, every time you pivot like that because of social media, that's you trying to chase the dopamine. And you got to be so aware of that. And also, I just want to say, like, rounding off, if you did go viral, that is a lot of weight to carry. I remember when my first video went viral, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I did not know what to do or say or like feel. I was just like, oh my God, I better just create more videos. But the reality is, if you're not used to having exposure and you're not setting boundaries there, like as soon as I did set my boundaries, to be honest, but that was after a few videos like getting traction. And then I sort of learned it. But you're going to get vulnerability hangovers. You're going to burn out. You're going to get dysregulated. Like, I think it's different, because when I got a bunch of hate comments on like pretty much every video, I wasn't fazed by it. But solely like for the purpose of, I grew up when like the internet was kind of just becoming like a thing. Well, social media was just becoming a thing. The first social media platforms and stuff like that. And people were just awful at school. So I got cyberbullied really, really badly, and I got bullied in person really, really badly. So people's hate comments were water off a duck's back for me. I was sort of just like, haha. Like, unfortunately, I've experienced it pretty much as bad as it can get. And, every time someone made a hate comment, I just thought, that's sad for you, because I know why people do that. And it's just, yeah, I wasn't taking it personally, put it that way. I kind of, yeah. But if that was someone else, that would be really, really a lot to deal with. I mean, people just say disgusting things on viral videos. It is awful. So you got to be really aware of that as well. Do you really want that? Do you really want that for the sake of just saying, I got a viral video? You can easily get the same amount of, dopamine by building an engaged community of people that are not only really, really grateful for the work that you put out there, but are also ready to buy, and not just saying loose stuff on comments or online. So I really want you to kind of shift your focus. If you are someone who is kind of driving their business with the main focus of vanity metrics unintentionally, like, I hope that this has given you a bit of a perspective shift. But if you are someone who thinks like, okay, I just need to go viral and then my business will take off, I promise you, and I mean this with so much love, and I'm saying it from my heart, and I really, really, really fucking hope this gets through as someone who has experienced it and just worked with so many people and spoken to so many people about their exact same story. Stop wasting your time. I promise you, stop wasting your time. And it will probably be a weaning off process, as it was for me. I was fucking scrolling, checking all of the views, all of the metrics every single day. That consumed my life. It was insane. Like, it was insane. And then obviously 10x by my ADHD. So I promise you, just don't waste your time on it. Yes, of course, pour into social media, but do it in a way that it's not a priority and it doesn't consume your every waking thought. And do it like, just try and view it as you are trying to feed the smallest pool of people as possible. And I promise you that your community will grow from that. If you focus more on slower growth, deeper growth, community building, connection, building your brand, sustainability, I promise you, you will be building your business for the long run and you will see better results quicker. I promise you. And if you are in your business for the long run, if you're just focusing on social media and virality, you won't be. And I say that because I know it's harsh, but I want to see you succeed. And I don't want to see you fall into the trap of thinking you're a fucking failure because you've not gone viral, even though it doesn't matter. And it just doesn't work like that. And I see too many people feeling like they're a failure, and it sucks. And obviously, as I say, it's 10x with ADHD and, thinking that you're doing something wrong. And realistically, you're not. And be so honest right now, because I know that we're all different, but a lot of ADHDers thrive in smaller and more connected spaces and communities. Personally, and where you can actually be yourself and unmask a little bit. Personally, I always try to make myself really, really want the idea of speaking on stages and going viral and being really known and almost being famous. Because, when I had my first spiritual business, because I was like, well, that's what the big names in the industry are doing. I need to want that. Why don't I want that? Does that mean I don't want success? And it's like, well, no, because I'm a fucking introvert. I don't want that because I don't want to speak on stages every 5 minutes. I don't want to go viral. I don't want to be famous. I actually do not want that. I want to live my life and, enjoy my life and have my business supporting that. I don't want to have that as everything. And that is okay. And that doesn't mean you, trust me, it does not mean that you earn less money. It does not mean that you can't have an impact on the people that you're here to impact. It just means that you're setting boundaries and doing things from a place of alignment rather than forcing it. And I promise you, if you force it, you will resent it. And we don't want that. We really, really don't. So I kind of just invite you to do two things. Three things. One, let yourself off the hook, and please just, I take a hot minute just to let this all sink in. DM me as well. Geez, my DMs are always open. I love talking about what people are going, especially this is my favorite subject to talk about. So just DM me on Instagram if you want to just share how you felt about this episode. Oh my God, yes, this resonated. I this is my story with my obsession with going viral. Please, let's talk. I love that shit. So just DM me. Two, just reframe how you see and do your content. If you need a content plan that will actually warm up your audience and build your brand and teach you how to sell when the time is right, rather than just throwing everything out, hoping for the best and creating videos that are actually not to do with your business and just to do with appeasing the algorithm, and you want to actually look at how you can express the depth of your work, go and grab my free tool. It is called the Neuro-Friendly Content Kit. It is completely free. It's basically a done for you kind of style generator, but it's not done for you in the sense of I'm going to give you the words of what to write. It's you can put your creativity into this generator. You can put your ideas, you can break down the needs and the wants of your ideal client, so your messaging's really bang on. You can look at types of content. There's content formulas in there or marketing formulas to help you kind of use that as a guideline, which is all on drop downs and stuff. It's awesome. So please go and grab it and start planning your content around that, and that will get you out of this horrible virality trap. And then lastly, if you want to look at sustainable visibility, go and grab the Sustainable Visibility Kit. I'm also going to leave that in the description, so go and check that out. That's kind of a step up from the content kit. And that is where you're going to get off of social media. So we're going to take a two-pronged approach, one on and one off. And the one off means that you're going to go and actually find your clients yourself. So you're going to go to the places where your clients are already at. And there's workbook questions to actually work all that out beforehand. And then there's a tracker so that you can, so there's like an application tracker, then there's like a confirmed events tracker. So it's going to guide you through applying to events, summits, even like audience building stuff. So like freebie swaps, you can find them all online. So yeah, go and grab that and start making your business feel good. Because right now, if you're chasing virality, it's probably not feeling very good. And we really don't want that. You need to be operating from a full cup to serve your clients. And serving your clients is what you're here to do realistically, so that that can then nurture you. And that unfortunately does require business growth, which it involves you thinking outside the box, and not chasing the quick dopamine and not chasing the quick hits. So go and check out those couple of tools and that will get you started. And then beyond that, I offer 2 and 4 week mentorship intensives. I also have my signature program, which is literally from start to finish, A to Z, on growing your sustainable business in a neuro-friendly way that doesn't burn you out and make you want to rip your hair out. That is currently closed, but will be, so I launch that twice a year, so that will be coming back in the summer, so keep an eye out for that. And then of course I have my long-term bespoke mentorship as well, so those are kind of more ongoing supports. But anyway, that is all in the description, so please go and have a little browse, go and check it out and get your hands on the free tool to start with as well. Again, please DM me, let me know how you feel about this. I always, like, as I say, I really do like talking about this. Share with your business buddy that you know also struggles with this. And I think it will be, you know, this is something I feel like is getting definitely worse. And I know that more people struggle with it in business, in online business, than not. So please share it to anyone also that you think may find this helpful. That is it from me today, and I will see you next time.